My name is David Holland. I grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I worked as a research chemist at Sandia National Laboratories here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Well, we were working on infrared spectroscopy, and that's where you shine light that's at a longer wavelength than visible. So you can't see it, but you can feel it as heat. You shine light in the infrared region of the spectrum through a sample, and the molecules in that sample absorb different wavelengths of the light. And the amount and location of those wavelengths tells you not only what the molecules are that you're looking at, but you can use that to quantify them. So I worked 41 years at Sandia National Labs, and during that time, I was involved in many different fields, all the way from high temperature properties of carbon to energy applications in the area of oil shale, in the area of magma energy, solar energy. Got involved in a lot of biological applications, and that allowed me to then collaborate with biologists at the University of New Mexico, at the Cancer Center, and at other universities throughout the United States. And so it was a fascinating time for me to be able to learn new things. That's what I found I enjoyed the most, was learning new concepts, new fields. And it kept the job interesting and allowed me to really grow throughout the years, and kept it exciting the entire time. So when I retired from Sandia, they allowed me to work part-time there. I became an editor of a scientific journal, and I started consulting. And so I've done a variety of consulting jobs, primarily related to this non-invasive monitoring of uh, various molecules or chemicals within the human tissue. Well, it started in third grade when a friend of mine got, for his birthday, got a chemistry set. And so I continued throughout elementary, junior high, and high school to be very interested in science, and never deviated from that. And I did. I started out in physics in college, but was hired by the chemistry department and found that really some of the things I enjoyed doing, which was related to the spectroscopy, were available in the chemistry department. And so I switched majors to chemistry. And then went to graduate school and got a degree at the University of Rochester, and a PhD, and which really allows you to do a lot more in the area of research and independent research by getting that higher degree. And my first job out of graduate school was at Sandia National Labs, and 41 years later, I was still there. Well, I love math and science, and I took many of those courses. But actually, a course that was maybe the most useful in my career was one that my father forced me to take, and that was speech, a speech class. And, I went in there kicking and screaming. I was relatively introverted and hated public speaking. But it was, fortunately, the teacher was probably the best teacher at the school, and I learned how to get up and give and do public speaking. And it turns out, as a scientist, Uh, you will never be a very good scientist if you cannot communicate your work to others, both as written, but more importantly, at conferences and talks that you give at conferences. And so I found that to be the most valuable experience that I had for my career in science because it got me over the hurdle of being petrified of public speaking, and it gave me the skills I needed to do it well and efficiently. So that was probably the most important class I took for my scientific career. The most important thing I found is that collaborations with other scientists is the most powerful part of science. Nobody can know everything and in the area of science or even in your own field. Uh, and therefore, collaborating with other experts and knowledgeable people in the field is crucial to making significant advances. In the area of science, most of the recent advances are made at the intersections of multiple fields of science. And therefore, I found those collaborations to be extremely valuable. And Sandia National Laboratories was a place that totally supported and encouraged collaborations. I would go in and need help, and people were very gracious and willing to drop what they were doing and help me out when I got stuck on something or needed some advice or expertise that I didn't have. And that developed into strong friendships, which I still have. And so and that was not only within Sandia, but multiple departments at the University of New Mexico and other universities throughout the country. So I found that to be the most rewarding part of my job is just the human interactions with other experts who are passionate about science as I was.